Hello, welcome to Gallery News and Reviews. This is the program that shows you what's going on at the galleries, art galleries around Halifax. I'm Patrick Lorette from the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia. At the art gallery this month are two exhibitions: Tony Urquhart, a sculptor, and Ron Bolt, a painter. Earlier this week I talked with Linda Milrod about these exhibitions, so let's go to that now.
The exhibition of paintings by Ron Bolt that's at the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia at the moment is subtitled The Inner Ocean. What is the significance of that?
Well, The Inner Ocean to Ron Bolt was a title that was arrived at after much thought about a lot of different kinds of titles. The way he describes it, he with some other people, I think involved with a publishing firm, went over a whole range of titles. This particular title arrived out of the blue, probably in connection with Bolt's interest in, as he would say, getting behind the forms.
Okay, so maybe we should explain a bit to our viewers. You and I both know that the paintings are primarily about the sea.
Yes.
So that should clarify something for some people. And you mentioned a publisher. Maybe we should start then by showing this book.
Yes. The Inner Ocean is the title of the book, and so the way the viewer sees the exhibition is as a dimension put out from the book. The paintings, all the drawings and paintings are illustrated in the book. So it's an exhibition from a book. Like
an exhibition from a book. The paintings were done, and drawings were done over a period of how many years? Over
a period, well, this would be 4 or 5 years. And in the course of this, the book idea was developed. And Hugh McLennan, the Nova Scotian writer, was appealed to write the introduction to it. And the book, I think, is an attempt to what they say a multi-dimensional experience in terms of art, literature. Bolt himself is a musician, and his interests lie in his range of rounding things out in terms of an artistic experience. So you read the book, you read a lot of literary passages.
Right, the book incorporates the visuals in the book are Ron Bolt's work.
Yes.
And the text is a multiplicity of.
The text is edited by his brother, who is an actor, David Bolt, who has evidently used some of these texts in one way or another. But it's a selection, an anthology from various quite famous writers, literary people, Herman Melville, and so on.
John Ruskin, I know.
Yes.
That, oh well, go on forever. Really.
So it gives you this in-depth experience, I guess, into the subject. So.
But what's on view at the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia, although the book is available, what our main concern are the paintings and drawings by Ron Bolt. It was an enormous exhibition that was organized really by the Art Gallery of Hamilton, wasn't it?
Yes.
Now, there isn't the full exhibition is not on view.
No, this was understood that the exhibition is staged in what we call the permanent collection gallery. Now, as a lot of people realize, the art gallery is in a camping quarter, an interim building. And the second floor of the gallery, we have a space we use as the permanent collection gallery, and
just wasn't big enough to accommodate the whole.
No, for extra exhibitions like this that we feel there is a demand for, we use this gallery for this purpose. So about half the exhibition is installed, gives a representation.
Yes, and it gives you a very strong coverage of what Ron Bolt is about. Who is Ron Bolt? Where is he from?
Well,
how long has he been working?
Ron Bolt is kind of a new breed of person. In these days, we have this new breed of what a lot of people call the Renaissance people. Now, I use this. I refer to this term with a small r. Now, for people who don't know what that means, we're very conscious these days of the kind of person who cannot satisfy his aims with one particular item, So as in the old days, 1600s, people are interested in many different things like writing poetry, playing music, being well-rounded. And the man or woman who is, in this sense, more or less well-rounded is supposed to be better off. I mean, culturally speaking, they're more
And Ron Bolt
interested.
is one of these Renaissance.
Well, he is in the sense that he has a diploma in music and brass performance and piano performance from the Toronto Conservatory, which is probably the most recognized conservatory in Canada, and so on. And he also, and his brother, they've got into this literary thing with the book and so on. So all this reflects upon this kind of a new man.
What I was interested to realize about him was that he's only been painting like this for approximately 10 years. He was a graphic artist.
Yes, and
that's
another,
quite evident in the work.
That's another dimension, and it is. He was a graphic artist for about, well, for about 15 years actually. He worked more or less concentratedly in this field for 10 years, between 61 and 71. But that is an interesting point in terms of looking at these pictures, because graphic, people hear these phrases a lot, but graphic artist means a person who uses the pencil or something like that in a very involved way, a very steady way over a routine period of time, days and months and years even, as he did. And it's supposed to be very connected with design. Actually, he was a good designer. I guess he won awards for from various institutes, like the Canadian Packaging Institute, for things like this. And it reflects in the pictures, as you say, partly in the sense, and people can decide this when they see, how does this affect a design of a picture? And I would say that the pictures, the paintings especially, are very tight. They're in some senses they're constricted, and it's not as if the design experience restricts him in a way, but you can still feel this tension in the works from this kind of an experience, I think.
By tight,
I can explain.
I'm not entirely sure what you mean by tight.
Well,
is that it's
tight refers to a method.
To detail, or
yes, it is, and it refers to me. It refers to his method. He uses a lot of slide material or photographic material reproductions, which he might throw onto a wall or screen or the canvas, and use that along with others in a collage sense to build up a design.
Would he actually project the image on the slide on the canvas that he was about to paint?
Yes, he does that.
In these,
not in every case, but
he does do that.
Yeah.
In some of the pictures, these paintings of the sea, where the edges of the waves are spitting little drops of water, you do get the sense that the luminosity in the sky is reflected in those droplets of water, and when you talk about projecting a slide on a screen, that might explain his ability to...
Yes, it's related way back to the way a Renaissance artist, again, I never really thought of this before, but how they would do a cartoon on a fresco wall, they would draw it out, and then they would do the painting afterwards. It's this kind of a process in general, though, a completely different approach. I mean, Ron Bolt's approach is more technological for our age, I suppose you would say. It's not drawing as such, but it's more in the sense of design as we feel design these days. What he is interested in, he is interested in what the abstract designing can do within the waves, the foam as opposed to the water. He works out certain patterns which are meaningful to him. It's a good point you bring up about the droplets of water. When you look at some of these paintings, there's one in particular that he has worked at through a zoom lens shot of a camera, which you can tell if you stand back that it looks like a close-up. What's the title of that picture? Gee, I forget. I have to look at the list. Yeah, I forget the title of it. I just know the picture to see it. It's okay. So if you come in the gallery, it's the first one to the left.
Okay.
You know, and it looks like a close-up as you see it from far away through binoculars or something. And these droplets that you mentioned, to me, are like reflections in a glass as the lens of the glass picks up sunlight playing. And this technique, I guess, goes back to Impressionism and what can you do with that kind of an effect, you know, the effect of light going through space. And you're controlling the space in such a mechanical way and all that. But he stresses the fact of sensuousness in the works, which is a debatable point, I guess.
I think it probably is a debatable point. I'm very curious to see how people respond.
Yes.
Around the corner in that gallery, the drawings are hanging,
Yes.
Separate from the paintings. Now, they aren't strictly, the subject matter is not strictly similar to the paintings. They aren't strictly about the sea. There's much more figures, for example.
No, the drawings expand on various interests of his, which I would say are more intimate in a different sense. I think he finds the paintings intimate, but the technique certainly is more intimate, using the pencil. He has a very fine touch and a good sense of line, of course.
They are remarkable drawings in terms of dexterity.
Yes.
And just a plain ability to draw. The
Yes.
man can certainly draw.
Yes, and so you have a range of interests from children playing to Northwest Territories scenes, historical items like figureheads and ships, and a lot of things that relate, birds, fish, so on.
These are, I would guess, not imaginative drawings. I would guess that they would be taken from photographic and slide material as his paintings were.
I would say.
The detail is such
Yes.
that...
Except you have to watch carefully. There's one drawing there. It's the first one as you leave the painting area, which is a wave study. Now the exact title of it again, I don't know. It's it's very abstract. It's like a piece of wave, which is flattened out and brought towards you. But if you look very closely at this wave, you can see the faint image of the torso area of a woman, which I guess refers to the birth of something. Sea hatchings. That brought me the title. It's called sea hatchings. I couldn't think of it until I said that. Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess Aphrodite and all that.
Let's walk downstairs. Downstairs we have quite a different kettle of fish. It's a much larger show. You've slated more space for its exhibition, and it's the 25 years retrospective of Tony Urquhart's work.
Tony Urquhart.
Who's Tony Urquhart?
Tony Urquhart is another Ontario artist. He was born in Niagara Falls. Urquhart was born in Toronto. Bolt was born in Toronto. I don't know if we said Urquhart in Niagara Falls. And he studied in the United States out of the University of Buffalo and so on. He's done a lot of university teaching over the years. He was one of the first artists in residence on the Canadian scene, that is after Goodrich Roberts.
Yes, he points that out in his catalog.
He enjoyed pointing that out, didn't he? I thought it was quite an item there. But maybe it's because he enjoys communicating, I guess. And Urquhart is a controversial artist. It's a very difficult exhibition for people to take on, I think. Another thing in this connection that Urquhart warns about is that these pieces, primarily the boxes, what we call the box sculptures, which are developments of landscape. He warns that that these pieces are not meant to be shown in public galleries. Now that is a truism. I think you can say that about a lot of art. So a person really has to tighten his belt in a sense mentally and imagine.
Pretend he's in a more intimate space when he's looking at each of these pieces.
In fact, I would suggest, not at the risk of throwing some people off, I would suggest maybe you would gear yourself as if you're going to visit somebody at the funeral parlor.
Okay, you're opening up a whole ton of questions. Before I start asking the questions, I'm going to show the catalog. because the catalog was written by the artist with an introduction by Mr. Ehrig, who was the director of the Kitchener-Waterloo Art Gallery, which organized this exhibition. And I want to point it out because the text of the catalog was written by the artist,
Yes.
and it's his reflections on the 25 years of work. And we'll be making reference to that in our conversation. Let's start more at the beginning.
Okay.
The work does cover 25, the exhibition does cover 25 years of work, and there are some early paintings from the 50s there that have very strange mound-like forms in them.
The paintings are hard to relate to themselves. The mound-like form, which Urquhart calls the lump.
In retrospect, of course.
In retrospect, well, he had been interested in that term for some time, and he picked it up from somewhere else. I guess I can't remember where that was, but you see a large, dark, looming form that is hovering towards you, but is also in some kind of a strange space back where it relates to the background. At the time he did these kind of forms, which a person just sees as a kind of haystack, you know, a dark haystack. He knew that they were very strange and ominous. And at one point, at some exhibition some years ago, someone reported to him, I think it was Dorothy Cameron, that she overheard a high school girl look at these paintings of these large lump forms. And the girl said, and they were sort of scurrying by them on their way out as if they were afraid of them. And the young girl said, "Oh, those are atom bombs," she says. And when that was reported to Urquhart, he said, "Well, how ironic." This was several years after that he made this comment. How ironic, he said, because actually they are concerned with something in that vein. And he has used the terms like dangerous and cancerous in terms of these forms. He has other paintings around these that are related more to an actual landscape,
But he moved away from paintings. He moved into going to boxes. It seems that he was, he refers in his catalog to wanting to increase the apprehension time on the part of the viewer. He really wanted the viewer to take more time in appreciating the work.
Yes.
And he found that these box forms, starting off with these lumps that he would wrap in photographs that people could spin around, which isn't in the exhibition, but he refers to in the catalog, to increase a viewer's the time spent to appreciate the work.
Time spent. And
how important do you think that actually is?
The going in of the thing. Well, as it turns out, I mean, you and I suppose, are more versed in the art history approach to it. I like to sort of look back on things and make a judgment of some sort. The boxes are, I think we can agree, are the most important of Urquhart's works, and I believe they will be the most important of his works. Partly because I think he was aware quite an early age, in his early 20s, that he was going to say something original. It's like James Joyce saying, you know, in the next 10 years I will do this. I will publish, you know, a major book or 4 books. And so Urquhart, I think, probably had something in mind vaguely to this effect. So he has done something quite original. When we consider the whole Canadian scene of art, you know, what forms have come forward over a period of 20 years. And the solution of his problem, if you want to put it that way, has grown out of various other things in 20th century art, like Cubism, walking around an object to get
I think we better describe what the boxes are about for the people who haven't seen the show. What actually, you know, in general terms, can you describe?
Okay. Urquhart creates a box. You're looking at it from the outside. It's like a closed box. A person should imagine this. It stands on a pedestal, central support base, which is often an actual leg of a table, let's say. You feel that you could pick this thing up and hold it like a priest would hold a chalice in a church or something like this. But of course, it's too heavy. The box is constructed with a very finished appearance. It's usually painted on the outside. Now, if we just take an average Urquhart box, you could approach this thing as a box. When you arrive at it, you notice that there are very strange aspects. That there may be knobs, there may be openings somewhere, there may be plexiglass wings on it. Okay, so you can open this box, and probably not with just one door, but with several doors. And you go around the thing. There may be doors in the front, doors in the back. There may be apertures or holes.
So when you open the boxes, the interior is revealed from a solid mass that didn't indicate such a kind of interior from the outside.
Well, this interest of the smooth, clear exterior at some initial point gives way, or decays, decomposes into something raw or organic in the end. Sometimes you can see right through the box, sometimes you can't. Each box is different. Some are very organic in terms of you feel that you're in the middle of the earth somewhere. It's a magic, sacred space. Others are very streamlined and painted. Others are quite open.
Like the French doors, for example.
The French doors is not really a box at all, of course. It is a construction which expands to the sides by the French door image. It's 7 feet high, so that makes it unusual also. Most boxes are on pedestals.
It is quite a bit different from the kind of thing we were just talking about. In Tony's catalog, he refers to the boxes in very general terms without getting into specifics. And he talks about the interest between the smooth exterior with quite a different kind of organic interior. And he talks about the time element that the viewer needs to open all the boxes, look at it from all different angles, this very intimate kind of experience. But he doesn't refer at all, actually, to the content of the pieces, what he's trying to convey, or why he selected certain materials, or any of that. Have you been able to tap any of the clues? Well,
all the boxes, let's say most of the boxes are painted. As he said, he was always, up to some point, a painter. So if you call him a landscape sculptor, which he accepts, itself is a strange term, probably relatable to environmental artists now, he is also a painter. So he paints the box and feels that he's handling this experience. And you have different kinds of paint used. You have metallic paints, and matte paints, and so on. And the coloring, the feeling of this texture refers to the content, whatever it is. Of course, he can't say that this is the content, but the content refers to something very symbolic. The content is part of the process, experience of the viewer going through a metamorphosis. I would say that the content of Urquhart deals with the ancient theme of metamorphosis itself. And so if you see these plexiglass flanges, as they're sometimes called, they would most directly refer to experiences that he saw in France. Usually France is his working ground, in which he sees across valleys, for example, and he sees things glittering, say in vineyards, leaves shining and things like this. And he puts pieces of paint, circles of paint, on the plexiglass to refer to this ambiguity of things seen in space across time and so on. And all this works.
The boxes were, say, a middle career, and he's still doing them. But more recent than the boxes in this show are the door pieces and the floor pieces. Now,
Yes.
what interests me about them is that whereas the boxes are inviting the viewer to spend time and investigate what's going on inside of something, the doors and the floor pieces are quite the opposite. They cut you off. They distance you. The plexiglass, for example, on the floor pieces really distances the viewer from what's going on beyond the surface of the piece. It
Yes.
seems to have gotten away from that engaging aspect.
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
Oh yes. The door images, which are on the far wall in the gallery. It's a series of doors. He had been doing drawings for them for several years, I guess, and they are one element from the box, I suppose.
That's right. One
yeah.
facet of a.
Yeah.
He seems to be investigating things more closely.
Yes, and he was inspired towards the subject from actually not from a French experience, but from an Italian experience in Corsica. The idea of time, very old time, interests Urquhart in this way, in passageways, which is itself a symbol for metamorphosis.
Okay, speaking
Then you
of
have the-
time, we're running out of it. The show is on until the 14th of April in the main and mezzanine galleries at the Art Gallery, Nova Scotia.
Yes.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you. As Linda mentioned, the two exhibitions at the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia run as follows. Tony Urquhart until April 14th, and Ron Bolt until April 7th. That's on Coburg Road. And what's on at the other galleries is as follows. At the Mount St. Vincent Art Gallery, the exhibitions Brahma and Buddha and recent work by Douglas Curtin continue until April 13th. At the Dalhousie Art Gallery, Woven Images, Bolivian Weavings from the 19th and 20th centuries, continues until the 30th of March. So does the exhibition of costume design by students of the theatre department. Faces of New Guinea is on display at the St. Mary's Art Gallery until 30th of March. At the Eye Level Gallery on Barrington, Judith Mann's paintings and Gary Kibben's writings are on view until the 29th of March. Work by the Master of Fine Arts graduates will be on view at the Anna Leon Owens Gallery between the 1st and 24th of April. And at the Center for Art Tapes, work by Tom Waterman is featured until the 29th of March. We welcome your comments on gallery news and reviews. Please write us at Gallery News and Reviews in care of Dalhousie Art Gallery, Dalhousie University, Halifax, B3H 3J5, or call the number 424-2403. Thank you for watching.